Thanks for tuning in for another one of my book reviews. In today's video, I'm sharing with you my thoughts on Suze Orman's latest and greatest, The Ultimate Retirement Guide for 50 Plus, Winning Strategies to Make Your Money Last a Lifetime. If you don't already know who Suze Orman is, you need to check her out. Suze Orman is a financial advisor, best-selling author, award winner, TV host, motivational speaker, and one of the top personal finance experts. She released this book in February 2020, and I had to check it out because I know you're wondering, girl, why are you reading that book and you're not even half that age? Thanks, babe. But I am more than half that age. And I likened reading this book to, the 50 plus Suze Orman. They're sitting at the kitchen table and I'm in the kitchen kind of eavesdropping in. I want to know what she's telling the elders. I want to know if there's something I can glean from this a little bit ahead of time, if you know what I mean. Plus, my mom is in her 50s, and I wanted to see what helpful info I could learn from this book to share with her. Now, I'm going to try not to bombard her, because there's some good stuff in here. So there was a lot to learn from this, and I went into reading this book with a very open mind, hoping to learn some information not only for myself, for you all, and also for my mom and some older relatives of mine. Reading this book actually changed how I see my own retirement in a few ways, and I'll share those a little bit later. One of my favorite takeaways from this book is her take on the family dynamic, because as you know, whenever someone is entering retirement, it is a family affair if they've built a family. And so I love what she says about how retirees or those approaching retirement should treat adult children. And I think that it highlights some areas that maybe other financial experts may not highlight as much. I found myself at times reading this book and going, ooh, 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 child. Ooh, you better tell them. Wow, okay. Oh, okay, we're gonna do it like that, huh? All right. Because her take on how to support adult children, I think it's another side of looking at how you equip your adult children for their adulthood, their careers, all that jazz. One of the more lasting things that I read in this book is found on page 25. She says, there are loans for college and plenty of ways to get a college degree with a moderate amount of debt. There are no loans for retirement. And wow, I think that statement is very loaded. If you think about it, yes, I mean, if you're going through college, if you as a young adult plan to get through college, then yeah, I mean, you can pick up loans. I've had student loans, so I'm not going to judge that. Of course, you want to try to get a debt-free degree, but it's easier to get a loan for college than it is to get a loan for retirement. And even the thought of that, thinking about our parents, our elders, getting loans to make it through retirement, it actually makes me pretty sad that's a thing, that our folks are having to borrow against their homes and things like that in such a late stage of their life. So I thought that was very interesting that she talks about how your children need to be as self-sufficient as possible. Of course, help your children, but don't make them so dependent upon you. Like, don't enable them, don't do everything for them. Set up a budget where you help your children and your grandchildren, but that's it. You help them become adults. And that didn't surprise me, but I loved her take on it because the 50 plus need to be concerned about saving for retirement so that they have a long, healthy retirement. The goal is to be able to enter retirement and get through retirement not having to worry about money. Now, thinking about it, of course, surviving on what you've built up over decades is the goal. But to worry about it, thinking about taking out loans, especially because you've taken care of your children or are taking care of your adult children. And if you are said adult children, which if you're watching my channel, you know how much I focus on becoming debt-free. And I hope that you are debt-free or are pursuing debt freedom. Hey, let's take this off our parents' plate, okay? Now I'm saying let's, but I am pretty independent. I am self-sufficient, especially at this age. But even in my 20s, I wanted to make sure that I took care of myself. I wanted to get through college, not financially burdening my parents. If you are, again, said adult children, let's take care of ourselves. Let's get to the point where we're as self-sufficient as possible so then our parents can focus on their retirement and taking care of their selves because they've earned it. Okay, so the next thing is being debt-free. So she talks about being debt-free before retirement, of course. And then of course it made me think of all of us who are in our, 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s. Yeah, maybe some teenagers. I don't know. Just looking at the makeup of who watches the channel, I'm so proud of us that we are putting a focus on being debt-free now. Like, we're not waiting until our 50s or 60s. We're becoming debt-free now. Let's stay that way. So before we hit retirement, that won't even be a concern. Become debt-free before you're retired. Pay off the mortgage before 65. And now that's if you're gonna stay in the home. So if you're not gonna stay in your home, be thinking of what you plan to do to live out your retirement. Will you go to a community living center? Be thinking of the cost of that to be able to prepare financially to move into a living center. Being totally debt-free in retirement is awesome. Again, some of you in your 20s and 30s, you're thinking, hey, I have plenty of time. I'll probably have 3 or 4 houses by then. Me, I plan to stay in this home. I love my home and I plan to stay here for as long as possible, but you never know. And I actually started looking around to see if this would be older me safe. And I thought of some ways that I could make it older me safe if I needed to, and plan to stay here through retirement. Now, my mom and I have had discussions about her home as well, and she's made some great decisions to be able to stay in her home. And she's not planning to retire super soon, but she has a staircase in her house, and she's already talked about reforming her garage into a bedroom and kitchenette and a bathroom and closet living space. She's already drawn out a plan, and within the next year hopes to make those plans come true. So again, my mom is making her home older self safe. So be thinking of that again as your parents are nearing retirement, or any older relatives, that their home is safe so that they can successfully, physically, and financially live in their home through retirement. Now, try not to overwhelm your folks. Believe me, Ma, if you're watching this, I'm gonna try not to overwhelm you. I'm trying not to overwhelm you. But of course, I'm the type of person who shares what I learn, and I want to share it with so many people. So Ma, if I'm overwhelming you, I'm sorry. It's because I love you and I care, and I want you to have a successful retirement. And I don't want you to end up like that lady eating the dog food. That's not okay. I digress. But you know what I'm saying. Let's help them make the best decisions for them. Start to do the research on where you plan to go. If you plan to live with a relative, maybe live with your children to help take care of your grandchildren. She talks about so many ways to make that happen. Maybe building a structure outside of the home, and again, helping take care of the grandchildren, or maybe having your children move in with you. She goes into so much detail on what to do to make it financially work and physically work through retirement. One of my favorite eye-opening pieces of information is she says to plan to live into your 90s. 90s. So she shares with us her mom's parents lived till their mid-60s. Her mom lived till she was 97 years old. And her sisters, her mom's sisters, her aunts, lived into their mid-90s. Plan to live into your 90s. She said you might as well plan to live until you're 100. Because people are living longer these days. She says work as long as you can. Plan to not take your guaranteed Social Security until you're 70 years old. Stay relevant at work. And if you have substantial savings, you can stop working before 70, but try not to take that guaranteed income, which includes your Social Security, until you're 70 years old. And she gives information on when to claim your Social Security and how these ages matter. I want you to be thinking of this as you're preparing for your retirement, and when you hear your older relatives or friends talking about when they plan to take retirement. On page 117 of the book, she talks about full retirement age, and I took some notes on this because I really wanted to share this with you. 62 is the youngest age you can collect Social Security benefits. At 62 years old, your benefit will be 25 to 30% less than you would receive if you waited until your full retirement age. 25 to 30% less if you take your Social Security at age 62. Your full retirement age is 67 if you were born in 1960 or later. So 67 is your full retirement age. And that's when you're able to collect 100% of your earned benefit. So we have 62, the youngest age, which is going to take a big chunk of that money, or 67, your full retirement age. 70. Now 70 is an important age. That's when you're eligible for your highest possible Social Security benefit. And if you wait until you're 70 years old, your Social Security benefit will be 24 to 32% more than your full retirement age benefit. So 3 years, you'll get 24 to 32% more than the full retirement age benefit. That is very important to remember. 67 years old, your full retirement age, 100% of the earned benefit. 70 is the highest possible payout of your Social Security. Now, of course, she talks about a couple different things. Of course, I'm just skimming over it. I'm not trying to get in trouble with Suze Orman and her people. These are just some of my takeaways, but the book is solid. The book is a read for sure. I'm just kind of skimming through, but she talks about if you have pre-existing conditions, if you have health conditions, then that's going to make things a little bit different. Of course, we talk about Social Security being insecure and we talk about how, you know, who knows if we'll have Social Security. In the past, she mentioned that normally Social Security is reduced, but not reduced all the way to zero. So it makes the list of guaranteed income. She talks about making sure that your living expenses are within that guaranteed income. There's so many details in this book, so many things that she talks about. I'm going to just skim through some of the other things that she mentions in this book. This book is about 300 pages. So there's no way I can tell you everything that's in the book. Again, I wouldn't tell you because I'm not trying to get in trouble, okay? But I wanted to share with you how much I think this is a read. So she talks about investing, of course, getting your policies in order, pensions, okay? That's another thing to think about. Medicare, Medigap, prescriptions, bear markets, okay, with those stocks in there. Essential living expenses, are there going to be some decreases? Are there going to be some increases? Now you may think, oh, well, I should decrease, but think about your insurance, paying out your insurance, your prescriptions, co-pays, annuities. She talks about mutual funds, of course, stocks, bonds, and balancing those, about finding the right financial advisor, what to ask, and what to expect to be asked. One of my favorite quotes in this book, she says again on 296, if you want to find the best financial advisor, look in the mirror, for no one will care about your money more than you do. Honey, that is the truth. You are the one who is affected either in the positive or negative the most by how your money is managed, okay? So get your head in the game. Be in the know, learn. She talks about trusting. Don't do anything that you don't know anything about. If you don't understand it, don't move on it. It's so good. Okay. She also talks about must-have documents like a trust, will, an advance directive and durable power of attorney for healthcare, and a financial power of attorney. And when you read the book, she gives you access to discounts to prepare those documents. A lot of people wait and wait and wait thinking they have so much time to get these documents together, but it's really a showing of love to prepare your loved ones after you pass. And the trust is for while you're alive, so that people know exactly what your wishes are while you're alive. We expect that we'll live out this life, you know, in our right mind with some minimum cognitive decline, but that might not even be the case. We could decline to a point that someone else has to make decisions for us. And let's show them how much we care and we've looked out for them by getting these documents drafted and helping them care for us. I love that. And it's something I'm planning to do here shortly. I've already written out a list and a very unofficial directive of what I want my wishes to be, to whom I'd like my things to go, but I really want to put it in writing so that my family can lessen their need to go to probate, court, and all that stuff to get all of these things taken care of. And it's definitely something that I'm going to suggest to my mom to get, so we know exactly what it is she wants and what she wants for us to have. It's something that does make me sad to think about, for sure, but at the same time, like, I want her wishes carried out. I want her to be taken care of, and I want us to do exactly what it is she would like for us to do. And for my dad as well, I want to know exactly what it is he plans for the last stage of his life, and that we do exactly what it is he'd like for us to do. So again, she goes through that list and more. Again, it's 300 pages, y'all. So a lot of these things I personally took in, and I started to think, if I wait until 70 to retire, Okay, so I had historically thought that once I retire, I'm gonna do all this traveling, I'm gonna do all this stuff. But 70, I may just wanna sit down somewhere, okay? Like, I'm gonna try not to get lazy, but when I'm 70, like, I just maybe want to live simply. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll let you know when I'm 70. Good gracious. That just feels like a good while away. But these days are flying by, so it made me realize that hey, in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I may want to do more of my traveling. So then when I'm 70, I can, lessen the travel a little bit, maybe chill out a little bit. I can definitely see myself living here, again, making my home elder me safe. I could also see myself living in a living center and shuffling down to the rec room and playing games and watching TV and eating Jell-O and then shuffling back to my little suite and sitting there with the screen door open. I can definitely see that too, but it made me kind of think about what I want my retirement to be, and then also what I want my life to be leading up to retirement. And I want you to be thinking about that as well. And then when you're making your financial decisions now, think about how you are benefiting your older you, so that if you take retirement, your guaranteed income of Social Security, she goes into investing and everything. I didn't speak of that, but she goes into all that. Not to mention your investments, but when you take your guaranteed income that hopefully will cover your living expenses, you want to make sure that that lasts you decades. That is something that even other financial experts, which I have reviewed books for on this channel, talk about. Plan to be in retirement and fund your retirement for decades. Also, CD ladder. I had no clue. A CD ladder, and I won't go into all the details of this, but hopefully not. I say that and then I go into the details of it. I'll give you a quick summary. A CD ladder is when you not only take your money and invest in a CD, which normally has higher yield returns, you don't put it in one 5-year CD. You put it in a 1-year, 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year CD. So you have 5 CDs up to 5 years, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. And they are maturing every year. And as they mature, you purchase another 5-year CD. I did not know about that. When I heard that term, I went off on a wild goose chase to check it out, and I was surprised. Now, of course, right now, CD ladders may not be the best thing to invest in. I saw Capital One 360 has some CDs that I can invest in. Their 3-year is about the same amount as my current checking account. So it doesn't make sense, unless I'm looking at this wrong, to withdraw money from that account to then lose interest over the next couple years to get to that. But as soon as rates are better, I am thinking about doing a CD ladder because that's something that really intrigues me. Let me know if you've ever heard of that or done that. I'm really interested to hear your insight on that. This book, y'all, I'm telling you, I expected to learn some things because it's Suze Orman. I learned so much. It is a great read, and especially for the population that it's meant for, 50 plus. But we can also learn from this. And I am so grateful that she took the time to write it, because I know that it will not only help myself, but it'll help me help my parents. And I'm really grateful for that. One last thing I want to share with you, if you're not sure what your Social Security is looking like, you can go to ssa.gov and check it out. It is very insightful. I don't know if some of you remember when Social Security would send out statements every year. I used to love getting them because it would show my pay history year over year, my income. And then it would say, based on this income, this is how much you can expect to receive in Social Security at 62, at 67, at 70. So if you want to know that information, go check it out. Again, it's very insightful. That's ssa.gov. It's great. It's an eye-opener, and it's nice to know. It's nice to know, even if you don't totally rely on Social Security, but at least you know that is a part of your portfolio. So let me know what you think about the book. Let me know if you're interested in reading the book. I think she has it in an audiobook form, so if you like audiobooks, maybe check it out there. Let me know at what age you plan to retire. Also, if you checked out ssa.gov, let me know what you think about that. If you didn't know about it, and if you found out some things about your future finances that you weren't aware of, let me know that in the comments. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Again, it was so difficult to pick out a few things. It's really a guide. It is really a resource. This book, it has been one of my favorites to read, and hopefully either has been yours or you have found some information in this video of my review that has been helpful. So yeah, that's all for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.